So I have a son. He's 9 years old. Um, and this morning he was getting ready for school, and the bus was almost here. He had to leave, and he didn't have his shoes on yet. So
Mm,
I was like, "Hey, you got to put your shoes on. You haven't done that yet." And I'll say for myself, like I can be lazy at times, right? So to your point about projections, that's something that's on my mind, and maybe that
yeah.
came from my parents and all that, right? But anyways,
Mhm,
so he just grabbed his Crocs. For familiar with Crocs, I think most people are at this
mhm.
point, and he threw them on. And he was going to leave with them. And I'm like, dude, I don't think you can wear Crocs. I don't think you should wear Crocs. And he's like, no, I'm allowed to. It's okay. It's cool. And like, I've thought about this a lot, very much in the spirit of what you're saying. And that's why I think it's a good example to explore. So in that moment, like, it struck me like, does it really matter if he wears Crocs? Like, why do I care? Why am I worried
Yeah,
about that? Why do I care? I should probably, like, this is probably one of those instances where I'm bringing my baggage, right? I'm trying to close that loop and be like, you can't wear Crocs to school. You have to wear something else. And I'm trying to force that upon him. So I
yeah.
sat back for a second and I was going to stop myself from forcing him to change his shoes. But then
Mhm,
another thought entered my mind. And it was like, yeah, but one of the things I want for him is for him to not just take the easy way out. And there's a chance in this
mm,
situation that he's putting those Crocs on, not because he wants to wear them, not because they necessarily match his clothes, not because they're going to be most functional in gym class today or any of that stuff. It's just he's
mhm.
being lazy. He just wanted to throw something on quickly. And part of
Yeah.
my job as a parent is to try and help guide him to be like, don't always take the easy way out. So now I have this
Mhm,
conflict in my head of like, very much in the spirit of what we're talking about. What is the true right answer here? Like, is the right answer to let him wear the Crocs because that's my own baggage and own shit that I'm projecting onto
mhm,
him, and I should just let him
mhm,
be? And there's much
mhm,
bigger, more important things in the world, like you said, co-creating with the universe. Or
mhm,
should I stop him because I'm going to allow him to like perpetuate maybe this negative trait that's going to be bad for him? Now, I don't know that there's a clear answer to whether he should have wore Crocs or shouldn't, but to me,
mhm,
that's an example of like there's so much nuance and complexity in that. And as we're trying to
mhm,
process that and understand it in a way which I think you're beautifully articulating, it sounds somewhat simple. Like if you just hone in, you'll know the right answer. As I try
mhm.
and do that, I often still struggle to be like, I could see both of these being the right answer, and I don't know which is the right one. What does that situation do for you? Does that do anything in trying to like illustrate how this is meant to
No, that's
work?
perfect. I love real life, like just raw, like
Yeah.
just happened this morning. I'm like, perfect. Well, we have like a couple of ways relating. There's something called attachment theory, right? So like we can be like more avoidant or we can be more anxious, right? And so like I think the approach would be different. For me, I'm slightly more leaning towards avoidant. And so what that means is if I am feeling triggered, I will like know that for me within myself, like, in this situation, I don't want my son to take the easy way out and kind of conflicted. I'll know that like I probably won't come out the cleanest way right now to him.
Mm,
So I'll just put this as a post-it note moment for later. Let's have a discussion about the principle of not taking the path of least resistance and how like maybe creating a vision now, right? So like the vision that I have for myself is I don't want to take the path of least resistance because of this, and this, and this. And like as your father, as somebody who loves you, like I want to like share with you like these experiences so you don't have to make these mistakes, but also so you can have the life that that this type of character affords you, and sharing why that's important. I won't be able to do that while he's getting ready to school and like just jamming on his Nikes because I'm like, making him feel guilty or whatever, by force. And so like, but there's also like another type of moment, like and it depends on, your relationship with, conflict, but it could be like, hey, this is a teaching moment. I can do this real quick. And it's just
mhm.
like, like, I know the Crocs are easy, but like, we've talked about like taking the path of least resistance, and like this is just another moment. And I just wanted to share this with you. Like, you can do this now, or you can do this, or you can put these shoes on now, or you can put these other ones on. Just know that like this would be the path of least resistance. Let him take the choice, whatever. He'll think about the rest of the day or whatever. And maybe in PE, like it doesn't work out with those Crocs, or he's trying to play basketball and he misses something, or whatever. Then like it's there. So it just depends on like your emotional state and how clean you can get that message out. Because at the end of the day, you're trying to serve him as his father, and so like that is like the higher art hierarchy of communication versus like your personal stuff, right? So it's like, how can I serve him best as a father in this moment based on what's going on?
Yeah, it's a beautiful like rephrasing back of it of how can I serve him best in this moment, and to me that's like representative of the challenge because does that presuppose or assume that there is an answer to that question? There is a way to best serve him, like in that literal instance, like is there a right answer that he should have wore the Crocs or not worn the Crocs? Is like is there anything we can ground ourselves in to say, yes, that is clearly right? Because as we were talking more theoretically prior to bringing up this example,
Mm-hmm.
at least the way I hear it, and I think some people hear it, listening, is that
Mm-hmm.
the work you're suggesting, which again, I think is the right work, allows you to get to some sense of like clarity and objective truth for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Subjective truth, but objective for yourself, that
Mm-hmm.
this is the right answer. Is that the right way to think about it? Like, should we be thinking of it in ways that there are clear right answers? So in this situation, there is a clear right way in which I should have done it. Is there something that can like guide us so we can ground ourselves in that? Or is it truly that there is not a right way? And then if that's the case, like what are we grounded in? Like what is it that gives me a sense of I'm doing this right?
I think, as much as we want to have like clear cut defining gratifying moments of truth like that, I think it's everything compounds over time. So it won't just be this one interaction that teaches him that the path of least resistance is the inferior path. It'll be over the course of him looking at how you respond to challenges in this order of or in this direction, right, or in this dimension of life. And so like he will, and you, as you go through these things, you can highlight these things with him as well. So I don't think like there's a right answer that just like directly solve that problem for him of like, oh yeah, well, I'll never take the path of least resistance because I know now. And so I think it's just like over time, you continuing to be consistent, and also you sharing exactly why, not beating him
Yeah,
over the head
yeah.
with it, but being live and present. But also you living your life in this way, he can kind of see how that works and why it's better
Is
for
it better though?
himself.
Is that something that's worth exploring? Like, I think we're assuming in this now that the path of least resistance is not the right path, right? Is that an assumption we're making? Because even that you could start to question and say, is that true? Is that something that just we're projecting on the situation because that's how we think of it?